Welcome back to the Millie Show. Today we will be discussing the interesting life of the author F. Scott Fitzgerald. I have one of his books that he wrote, Tender in the Night, and I know it's very interesting. And I want you guys to meet my two assistants, who will be Maggie and Valerie. So I hope you enjoy this episode of Scott Fitzgerald.
F. Scott Fitzgerald was born September 24th in 1896 in St. Paul, Minnesota. His parents were Edward and Mary Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald first became interested in writing when he was enrolled at St. Paul Academy from 1908 to 1911. He then studied at Princeton University from 1913 to 1917, where he composed lyrics for the university's Triangle Club productions.
Fitzgerald's time at Princeton University contributed majorly to his successful writing career. Fitzgerald joined the Army in 1917. While in the Army, he wrote a novel titled The Romantic Egotist. It was rejected from Charles Scribner's Sons, a publishing company. The Romantic Egotist eventually became part of F. Scott Fitzgerald's best-selling novel, This Side of Paradise.
In 1918, Fitzgerald met and fell in love with Zelda Sire, and they got engaged.
Zelda was a writer herself. She also was a dancer and an artist. Zelda was an icon of the 1920s. She was considered to be the first American flapper.
After his discharge in 1919, he went to New York City to seek his fortune in order to marry, but Zelda was unwilling to live on his small salary, so she broke their engagement.
No way!
In 1920, Fitzgerald's first book was published, which was called This Side of Paradise. This novel was about the lives and morality of post-World War I youth. The publication of his book made him very famous and brought him and Zelda back together. He and Zelda got married a week after the book was published. They also had a daughter named Frances in 1921.
Fitzgerald became very successful, earning over $400,000 between 1919 and 1934, but he and Zelda lived so expensively that they couldn't even cover their bills.
Fitzgerald and Zelda spent a lot of their money traveling the world.
Fitzgerald wrote his best-selling novels in many different locations and times. The Beautiful and the Damned, 1922, was written in an apartment in New York City during the summer. The Great Gatsby was written during the summer and fall in Valscure near St. Raphael. He wrote Tender is the Night, 1934, in a rented home outside of Baltimore. Fitzgerald became very famous for his writing. The critics looked at The Great Gatsby with new eyes, finding it to be a powerful statement about the material culture of the 1920s and of the American dream. Fitzgerald is a really great writer with a unique writing style. This isn't easy to believe because he was taught to write and respect literature by his friends like Edmund Wilson and John Peel Bishop.
Edmund Wilson and John Peel Bishop were Fitzgerald's two close friends at Princeton University.
In 1930, Zelda had a major nervous breakdown. She went to the Swiss clinic. Zelda spent the rest of her life in and out of sanitariums. Fitzgerald worked as a screenwriter at motion picture studios in Los Angeles, California, including Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and United Artists from 1927 to 1940. Fitzgerald contributed to film scripts such as Winter Carnival, The Woman, Gone with the Wind, and more. He took any script work he could get in his final years in order to support his wife and daughter.
F. Scott Fitzgerald died on December 21st, 1940, of a heart attack while he was eating a chocolate bar. Zelda Fitzgerald died on March 10, 1948, 8 years after her husband. She died in a fire at Highland Sanitarium in Asheville, North Carolina. She left behind a novel called Save Me the Waltz. F. Scott Fitzgerald led a very interesting life and had many successes. He was a fantastic author that will go down in history as one of the best.
We hope you enjoyed this episode on one of the greatest authors of all time, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Bye.